All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the RNA podcast with your host, Riley Ramondo and Stephen Aprobato. Today we had Jaylen Halstead and Brandon Barnett. Stephen, how did you think it went today?
Dude, it was awesome. It was such a fun podcast. We were a little bit everywhere with it. We were talking about their careers, but started talking about best place to get the chicken sandwich, best rappers in the game right now. Jalen's wedding, Barzani, getting his inspiration for a lot of his freestyles or raps in the shower. So I mean, it was just so fun talking to them today.
Yeah, I completely agree. It was just, banter going back and forth, but I hope you guys enjoy it.
All right, cool. So glad to have you guys on, Brandon and Jaylen. I know you guys have worked on some music together, producing together. We're excited to get to know you guys a little bit more and tell us about yourselves.
Hey, guys, welcome to the show. Stephen and I have started this now. I think it's episode 7, so welcome on.
Thank you. Woo. Very excited to be a part.
All right, first things first. I want to get this out of the way. LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan. I think that is certified. I think.
Amen. Amen.
I'll give you that one. I got to give it to you for sure.
10 times out of 10 times, LeBron over MJ.
I honestly do think though that you're gonna have to. That'll be solidified once Space Jam 2 comes out. So if it's better than Space Jam 1, then I'm pretty sure that'll give everybody their answer.
Bro, it'll be better. LeBron's actually an actor. MJ's just a basketball player, all right? It's fine. It'll be better.
I think it's a generational thing, though. I mean, if you ask anybody that was, in their 20s during the 90s, they're going to say, LeBron's not as good as Michael Jordan. But
for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Some people still think that, what you would call it, that well, no, I can't even say that. I'm actually going to take back what I said. I was going to say that some people think that Jay-Z is the best rapper of all time currently. And then I was just that's a little iffy, but yeah, you're right. Definitely a generational thing.
Yeah. I think too, when LeBron gets his documentary out there like Jordan did, I think there's going to be a lot of people hopping on the LeBron over Jordan bandwagon too.
What would they call it though? Would they call it Kid from Akron, or what do you think they'd call it? Strive for greatness? Maybe
just the king. I don't know.
The king.
Yeah, probably something like that. I mean, they got to start it with, back when he was in high school, because, he had so much pressure on himself from such a young age, and, he hasn't messed it up yet. So, I mean, got a lot of respect for that guy. He basically was in the spotlight from the time he was 16 years old.
Yeah, he's a legend for sure.
Yeah. All right. So how did you guys meet? I know it's a little the opposite direction of LeBron and Michael Jordan, but maybe it's not. Maybe you guys are the next, LeBron, Michael Jordan.
I mean, Brandon's kind of like the LeBron of rapping, so that's the correlation.
Oh, shucks.
We'll put it that way. I'll be the Kyrie. I'll be the slightly moody teammate, but still comes in clutch. You know what I'm saying? Nah.
Honestly, nah, man. I think I legitimately think that Jaylen is the Steph Curry of the NBA or rapping. Real talk, honestly.
I'm sorry, man.
He's just so low key.
But I'll kind of start with how we met. So, well, we actually had a lot more mutual friends than we thought. But we technically saw each other before we met, years before we met. So we would go to a youth conference, and Stephen, you and I went to together once, but it's called CIY. So it's Christ in Youth, and it's just a church conference where high schoolers come from all over the region of the country, and they kind of come together and they learn about Jesus, have a bunch of live music, games, that kind of thing. And there was this youth group there was a talent show one of the nights, and this youth group would all dress up like cows, and they would go and they performed like This Is Living by Hillsong Young and Free. And then there was a rap portion in it, and Brandon actually rapped that part. It was Lecrae's part. And at that point, I didn't know who he was or anything. I just knew that there was this church where they were all dressed up like cows and they were dancing, and then he rapped the part. And then it wasn't till a year and a half, maybe 2 years later, that I found him on social media through a mutual friend. Actually, I don't know, what was Alex actually your youth pastor at the time?
Yes, he was coming in. He was new.
Yes, I knew his youth pastor, and his youth pastor had shared a video of him doing like a spoken word or something for their church, and I just checked him out, and I was like, let me just look at this dude. And at that point in time, I was like really into producing and starting out like making beats and that kind of thing. And then I just reached out to Brandon and was like, yo, maybe we should like work on a track sometime. And then from there it was all like social media. And then Brandon, you can kind of speak on like the first time we met in person.
Yeah, so like afterwards, I believe it was when we went to that college, right? We first saw each other like when I went up there for like a personal trip, and then I was just like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and visit my friend at Johnson University, and he so happened to be at Johnson University, and that's when we kind of just like met each other. I definitely could tell it was him because like he was like the tallest person like there. Like, don't get me wrong, like Jaylen on camera, he looks like super short and everything, but dude is like a giant. Like as soon as you meet him and everything. So like there was that.
That's all.
but it's actually backtracking a little bit. It's actually really funny how like how I continuously met him with more mutual friends that we knew, because I have a best friend named Caleb Gray, who attends Johnson University down in Tallahassee. And then like one day, Caleb Gray met Jaylen's older brother, Rylan, and then they started hanging out. And then Caleb Gray came over to their house and he saw Jaylen there, like making beats.
We were already hanging out, and it was like your best friend, but we hadn't officially met in person yet. It was
Exactly. So like, and then once he figured out that once Caleb figured out that like Jaylen was making a song featuring Barnett, like Caleb called me, and then we were just like, hey, guess where I am? I was just like, oh snap, it's the two goats inside of there, bro. You guys are gonna make some fire milk. So anyways, I'm going to Johnson University afterwards, and like I see him, and then afterwards we do the second meetup when we were doing the concert, right? And then you can speak more on the concert at the camp, right?
Yeah. And that's where we like really like got to spend a lot of time in person. Like we played Super Smash Bros. and we just hung out and we performed, and that was super fun. So it's kind of a long story. We had our first song Moves together was completely made, produced, recorded, all of that separately, and before we had actually met in person. So like we met over social media and already worked together, but then we like really met like months after we started that process. So that's kind of our origin story.
Yeah, that's really cool, to see full circle, and it was kind of inevitable for you guys to, be friends at that point. So many connections you didn't even know about. But so that the first song you guys came out together was Moves, and that was your second single, right, Jaylen? Or
yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of ways to look at it. Like in some ways, I don't even view it as my first single, and then in some ways, it's my second single. Like I'll explain. So like I released a track with a friend named Emma that was like a completely different vibe than anything else that I've ever made. And I truly believe like at that point I was just really starting like producing and writing, and I was trying to be something that wasn't necessarily who I was, but it was just what I knew, if that makes sense. So it was kind of like more of like an electronic pop kind of sound to it. And it was fun. And like I learned a lot about recording and writing, but I put that song out in October of 2018, I want to say. And then, because then we worked on Moves next, and Moves came out in like January of 2019. And so, but Moves, even at that point, it's drastically different than the music I went on to make for my album. And I feel like my album music is really like the first when I like actually made my own music, because Moves and Running Back were both like dope songs. But they were more just like from a producer standpoint of like I made a beat, and then Brandon really brought the vision to it of lyrics and the concept and that kind of thing. And the art, like he made the art for both of them and that kind of thing. But I really was mostly on the beat side of it. But then I feel like my first single that I actually claim really came out in 2020 when I was working on my album.
Cool. That's a neat story. I was reading a little bit on your website and about like what your album meant to you when it was your first time actually singing and stuff. But before I kind of get into that, I was wondering, Brandon, so you did the artwork for all of the music, some of your friends' music, some of Jaylen's music. So how did you start getting into artwork? What's the inspiration behind that?
Funny enough, it actually also starts from like CIY as well. So me going to a bunch of these CIY conferences, I was like always inspired by the different videos that they would make, because like I'm also kind of like a videographer myself. So I thought that all the content that they were making for CIY was just beautiful, and there was this one specific story following this guy named Jace, I believe his name was, and like he was a football player, and he was always like one of the best on the team. He was always there supporting people. And one day he got injured, and turned out to be like cancer and stuff like that. So he actually had to amputate one of his legs. And afterwards, he was still being there supportive though. Like he thought it was all over, his football career was over, but he was still there, being there for other people. And as time went on, it turned out that he had to amputate both of his legs because, the disease kind of spread, the cancer kind of spread amongst both legs. And it still didn't stop him, because like, even though there were a lot of things that were holding him back, he still wanted to be there to serve other people and teach other people that they have value. And it kind of just like hit everybody in the room when it showed that he was like still speaking throughout this whole entire interview, and then it says afterwards that he actually died. And that was like super, super powerful for us, because it was like, okay, CIY literally filmed and interviewed this guy like just recently, and he still died, but he still impacted so many different lives. And it's just like, man, what about me? Like, I'm a person who has been bullied a lot in middle school, and even going up to starting high school. And I was just like, man, I'm getting bullied a lot. I'm getting told myself that I don't have a lot of value. So like, let me go ahead and make value, or show other people that they have value in themselves, in any way that I can. And in doing so, that's why I started doing artwork, because with my artwork, what I would do is that I would create anything that someone would want, and the money that they would pay me with, partial profits would go to this nonprofit organization known as Rafa House. Rafa House is an organization that my church supports, that deals with rescuing and taking care of victims and child victims of human trafficking. So I just thought, like, man, if there's any way that I can try to teach someone or tell someone that they have value, it is through me drawing things for people that can hold value for themselves, while also at the same exact time giving value to other people. So that's honestly how I started drawing, since like I started college and everything like that. But ever since then, it came to starting with commissions, and then like, doing more landscape artworks and stuff like that, to finally doing like a cover artworks for like different artists and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of
now
just the origin story.
everybody's in your DMs asking for art now. Don't even lie, too.
And hey, we might be in there next. Steve and I talked about that. We were looking at some of your artwork. We're like, oh, we'd love a logo, some action going on like that. But no, and Brandon, you talked earlier about how you think that videography and as well as making artwork has such a big impact on people. I completely agree. I'm somebody that edits quite a bit on the Adobe suite, whether it's Adobe Illustrator or Adobe Premiere. I'm always making videos, and I think that it's so cool to be able to tell the story of something, even an event or somebody's story. And I think that it's so important, because in the future, that person's going to be able to have that in the future, whether, it's somebody who's a senior playing some sport that they want to have that memory forever, or even if it's something, silly, like not necessarily the situation you talked about, that was a much more serious situation, but, everything, whether it's a party, whether it's, something for an athlete or something that's of a big impact on somebody, I think it's important.
Absolutely, man. Like, it's definitely all about just like making the best memories possible. So I feel you. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's really neat too that not only do you do that for other people, but I feel like it does really help out, your music when somebody does see the artwork, because a lot of times people say don't judge a book by their cover. But a lot of times, like the first music I listen to, I'm picking the coolest, album cover and favorite artist. So I
Bro,
definitely
that's something people don't talk about though. Is like I'm a big person about that too. Like I think artwork is so important to a project. And one of the reasons why I've asked Brandon to do a lot of the art for my music and things is like, dude, like you're definitely blessed and gifted with just this ability to like bring something to life, like a vision to life. But people like see your art and they're just like, whoa, and there's like so many layers to it. And it's like, I agree with you, Steven. I think like artwork and with music is important. Like if you have a good song but the artwork sucks, like a lot of unless you're like, you know, a legend like Kanye or something, like people aren't necessarily going to be like as inclined to click it as if the art was like really cool.
Exactly. The music isn't the first thing. When you release a song, it's not the first thing you hear, it's the first thing you see normally.
Yes.
So
Yeah, it's cool though that you're doing it for a good cause. Not only are you making this, you know, artwork, but you're also, you know, releasing the proceeds to something that you feel passionate about.
absolutely, man. Most definitely.
yeah. So
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, I think that's really powerful, you know, being able to do that. So Jaylen, I saw that you and some of your fellow producers slash, you know, creators got together, I think before your wedding. Were you guys have a song? Did you guys make a song? What was that all about?
Yeah. So without actually, you know, like we'll talk about it a little bit, but you know, no crazy spoilers. But basically, I reached out to for my wedding. I got married on March 20th.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. I texted my friends that were coming, that my fellow creatives, and I said, yo, why don't y'all come in a few days early and we're gonna make something like really cool, but I know that we have a short time frame. So the only details I'll share right now is the four of us got together in a room and we put a timer on our phones for 23 hours and 59 minutes. And we said, let's see what we can do in this time frame. And I'll just be honest, like, bro, it kind of slaps. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like it's kind of fire. But Brandon's part is crazy. I'm not gonna lie, Brandon's part is crazy. But yes, I'll say there's something, and we'll have like social media coverage for it and like announce it like soon. It's gonna come out. It's just we literally like my wedding was like the peak for my busyness, but then all my friends had all this stuff going on in April and May that we're like, all right, once we get through this season, then we're gonna like kind of look at some of this stuff. So it's coming out. Yes, we did all kind of work together. It was me, Brandon, our good friend Matthew, or L3V is his artist name, and then Ethan Head, who he produces and writes, and he's worked with me and produced for me for a lot of stuff. So it was a super fun little challenge, but yeah,
of course. And you can't forget Cole as well. Like Cole Plichta, he is an absolutely amazing like an amazing cinematographer, well, moreover photographer, and like he was definitely running the art through the whole entire project. And again, I can't really say anything either, but like
yes,
he just went nuts in the amount of time that he had. Like he just went absolutely insane.
Yeah,
so,
well,
yeah,
it's, you know, we were talking about like the first thing you see like changes how you view the song. Like the art he made was perfect. Like we looked at it, we're like, this is literally perfect. So like we're super excited. But it was something that once we finished, everybody, you know, I went on a honeymoon trip. Brandon and all them, they all went back home, and we were all just kind of like, no one talked about it for like 2 weeks because we were all so busy and stuff. And then we were like, all right, we gotta have like a group call sometime soon. Everybody's like, I can't right now. So like once we all get it together, like it's gonna come out, but we're excited.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's really cool. You know, we had Charlie Glover on here a few episodes ago, and he was so passionate about his music, and I can see the same in you guys. You know, is this something you see yourself doing for a long time?
Yeah, you want to talk about that first, Brandon?
I need some more time to answer that.
Okay, well, so as far as for me, music will always be a part of who I am and what I do. Ever since I was a kid, I I gravitated towards music, and I knew it was something that I was talented and good at, but also just something that like I feel like I connect with God when I play. I feel like I connect with others, and I can, help facilitate moments of just like music speaks to people, and it's this really cool, crazy, wild process sometimes creating it. But just being able to play, like pick up a guitar, sit on the drums, grab the piano, like whatever it is, like it's always fun for me to do something in music. But as far as like vocationally and like career wise, I'm currently in the process of pursuing being like a worship minister and leading worship at a church and doing music there. So, God willing that all goes through, I mean, that would be part of my vocation, would be music. But there's a 0% chance I could just like stop. When Grace and I were, my wife, when we were moving all my stuff out of my parents' house to move into our apartment, it was like this really weird process for me to like pack up all my music stuff. And I had this moment where I was like, it was like all my speakers, my vinyl player, my keyboards that I use for producing, everything. I was packing it all up, and I was like, dang, like I don't want to like give this up. And like I could feel for the first time probably ever where I was like, wow, I'm not okay with not doing this. You know what I mean? Like not that I've ever like considered quitting or whatever, but it was the first point, like packing all that stuff up and moving it out of my parents' house. I don't know what it was mentally for me that triggered that thought, but I definitely had that moment of like, this is something I'm definitely gonna be doing for as long as I'm physically capable.
Yeah, and there's sometimes where you can kind of take a step back and you realize how much something has consumed your life. I think that when you're packing something up, all of your belongings that have to do with music, you've realized, I've been using this equipment for so long. I have so much of it that it's consumed so much of my life, and you kind of realize, like, I don't want to get rid of this. It's something that I've done for so long, and you can feel the same way about a lot of things. But I think that when you put so much time into something and you get to see where it goes, especially some of your songs that got a little bit of traction on Spotify, and you kind of realize you're like, wow, like there's no way I could just stop doing this.
Yeah, especially when you consider like I know I had some people. I didn't. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, dude, like I had hundreds of people like telling me how my music reached them. Like it wasn't like that, but I had like several people that said like some of the music I put out for my album and the meaning behind a lot of it like meant a lot to them and spoke to them and helped them through a situation, or like, so when you find like that pocket music too, where like people can relate to it, and that's just on the writing aspect. Obviously the playing it is cool and stuff, but creating it and writing it, like that's something that like I just, in my free time, I grab the guitar. I literally, before I was jumped on this call, I was working on writing something. I literally have the guitar sitting over there and I was writing music. But it's just something that's like, I don't know how to stop, and it's fun, but also, it means a lot for me. So yeah.
Well, in my terms, honestly, it kind of does piggyback off of like with what Jaylen said. And it was like, man, I would not be okay with not doing this whatsoever. Like, actually, as a matter of fact, before this call too, I was doing two things at the very same time. I was working on, well, two video projects, but then even on top of that, while I was working on the video projects, I was also continuously looking up beats and like writing lyrics and stuff like that. But like at this point in time, it's not even so much more of like, man, this thing has taken so much of my time or anything like that, or it's taken much of my mental time for sure. But at the end of the day, like I've unfortunately gone into this transition where it's been like, okay, you have to work like regular jobs in order to kind of sustain yourself, and working those regular jobs kind of do take up like so much of that time, and that's just kind of what gets a little bit stressful for me. It's definitely a situation I didn't want to be in, like at all, especially while I was still like in college. I recently just graduated from college, like about 2 weeks ago or something, and but like even coming out of college, I was immediately hit with, okay, it's time to work full time now. It's time to um, not even just work full time. It's time to also like buckle down on a lot of art orders that you need to do, and then even on top of that, like more side videography work that you also are going to have to put in full time hours for. And honestly, that just becomes completely draining. Not to sound like, super Batman like or super dark or anything, but like still, uh, I just know that one thing's for sure, like doing music is something that's always within me. It's taking a lot longer to even be able to make music, but like I love taking my time with music. Um, and I love doing things like with art as well. I do find myself doing a lot of things, all of these things. But I've kind of come to that like case in point in my life now where it's like, okay, I have to like still focus on other things in order to do the things that I want to do. But then by the time I get to do the things that I want to do, the amount of energy is like drastically depleted. But the vision and the hope is still there because like God didn't give me this for no reason. And there are a lot of dreams that I get about completely creative things that I honestly do think will help people in their own way. Because like even some of the kids that I do partially minister to, because like I am a life group leader at my church for I think like the high schoolers and stuff. They still sometimes do listen to the music as well, and they're just like, "Hey, bro, this is honestly really really cool." And Jaylen is the best producer you have ever worked with, and he should be the only one you should ever work with, and everything like that. Seriously, Jake, and like they love your stuff. They really do. They know your lyrics. But like, yeah, man, that's yeah. I could definitely see myself doing this for a very, very long time. And I think I can definitely see myself happily stressing, being okay with stressing about this. So
See,
yeah.
I was gonna say too, like I feel like that because I'm in the same situation though in terms of like working a full-time job and then the music is like something that you fit in around all the other stuff in life. But I think that speaks to like the love that we both have for the art. You know what I mean? Because if it really wasn't, everything to us, then when you got to that point where you're tired and you've worked a job, then it's like, oh, whatever, and you just give it up. But like both of us know, like that's really not an option. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like even, whatever free time you have. But yeah, I agree with you on a lot of that. But I think that just goes to show how much love you have for your art. And I know when you drop a song, which is kind of rare right now, but every time you drop one, it's like, bro, here comes that bars ready. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be bars, no pun intended. But
Yeah, there isn't a ton of money in music, is there? Especially for smaller like producers and artists like yourself.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say there's like billions of dollars in music, but it just depends on what level. I mean, at our level, nah, there's basically none. But I mean, it just. But that's what I was gonna mention, like about my personal journey in music is like I've gotten to a point though where like I'm not pursuing this to fill a void in my life. Like I don't have like this self-worth where like I've got to make it in music to like validate myself. So I'm not pursuing it for that, and I'm also not pursuing it to make money. Like I don't view it as like this, oh, I need to get a Drake record deal of like 45 million over 2 years, or like that's not why I chase it. But like I could literally do music for the next 35 years and make $8,000 off of it over 35 years or whatever, and like I wouldn't be disappointed in that. Like that's not why I'm necessarily doing it. Obviously if I have some goals I want to reach, that the money should kind of reflect that, you know what I mean? Like naturally, like if like I want to be able to do certain levels of shows, and eventually I want to be able to go on tours and do that kind of thing. And like to go on a tour, like, and only make $8,000 over 35 years, like you probably didn't really go on a tour. You know what I mean? The point is, I'm at a point where like I'm doing music because I love it. I'm doing music because I it brings me happiness because I can help other people, not because it's going to be my career. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Steven said earlier, we had that conversation with Charlie when Charlie was on here. People realize when people are doing things for the right reasons. And if you're making music to make money, oftentimes people aren't going to listen because they know that those are your intentions. And the cool thing that you guys have, which is a little bit different perspective, especially you had mentioned this, Jaylen, is that you're pursuing to be a minister. And when you can make music and people are going to listen at, I don't know necessarily where, but I did go to church one time with my friend, and he brought me to Celebration Church, and it was like a concert the entire time. And I just realized that, and it can be that way at, certain ministries, to where you can be making music for everybody that's in the audience and they can really connect to it. And I think that might almost fill a void more than the money actually does.
Oh yeah, you're not wrong. Like, there's something more fulfilling about knowing that your music is benefiting other people versus yourself. And that's kind of like, I know Brandon and I both fit in this category, but like, both of us are followers of Jesus, and we know at the end of the day, we care about others more than ourselves. Obviously, we're going to struggle and focus on ourselves just because we make mistakes and that kind of thing. But ultimately, like, that we're made, like, taking care of other people, helping other people is always going to be more fulfilling than yourself. But like, I mean, you got celebrities like Robin Williams and people that make it to the very top of everything, and they're taking their lives. They're struggling with depression because all that stuff, like, it doesn't add up. It doesn't fill you up. It doesn't fulfill you. And both Brandon and I know we can confidently say, like, music isn't, we don't use that to fill our void. We do it because we love it and because it can help other people. And I feel like that's Absolutely. Also, you can tell when these artists put out these like 14, I mean, they're like 17 or 18 track albums, like these mainstream rappers right now. And it's like 3 good songs. And they put out 18 and 19 tracks because they'll get more streams, they'll make more money. They're not doing it because they like the art or because they love the album. Like, they're putting that out because their managers have shown them the numbers of, if you put out 22 tracks on this project, then that's more songs for people to click. And it's like, so much of the music industry now is like not about the love for the art as much as it is for the love for success or for the streams or for the money. But I mean, obviously, Brandon and I can't even come close to competing with those guys. But we understand that, like, we love the art, we love doing this, and that goes for Brandon's drawing, for videography, for my writing, for my worship leading. Like, we do it because we love it, not because there's anything to gain from it.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like, sometimes I've kind of been fortunate enough to be able to use art as a form of income, but at the very same time, like, that art still comes with, hey, you're paying for your creativity and mine. So it's like, hey, this is what I kind of put first. I kind of think of the art first, and usually the money just comes after, rather than me putting the money first and then the art's coming after, because it's just like, oh, okay, I need to do this art in order to make money. It's like, no, I'm making the money because, like, I love the art itself. But clearly someone listened to J. Cole's album, like, that recently just came out, and like absolutely loved it. But like, because like in J. Cole's album, there's like one song inside of it, which, by the way, like, J. Cole's album has like 12 songs inside of it or something. But he says, I think on the first song, he's just like, when your 30 something album does a measly 100,000, like, that's it. Like,
yes.
they'll have 30 songs on an album, and like, they'll barely get the same amount of streams. So yeah, no, I totally feel you heavily. But yes, that's totally true. Like, people can be rich in monetary means, but like, you're already rich in your mind when your art is your currency, kind of a thing. You definitely create that void in shout to snaps. Yeah. But definitely, no, like, when people, that's way better than a Grammy, to be honest. It's way better than like a plaque saying, oh, I've gotten like 100,000 streams or something like that. Like, those are great, but I can't carry it with me when I die. And
hey, still flat as the Grammy though.
I'm so dead.
Yeah, bro, I could buy a Tesla if I get a Grammy. So it's another dream of mine. Like, real talk, when I grow up, like, my only goals in life are to get a house, get a Tesla named Terrence, and then a dog named Greg. And The dog's gonna be a husky.
What
So
color is the
that's-
Tesla though? What color is the Tesla?
Man, I mean, I wanted it to be like blue, but my mom says, "Nah, man, you're a grown boy now, so you have to have black." And I'm like, "Okay, well, if you say
What
so."
model? What model Tesla? Are we going
Huh?
with the new Roadster, or are we gonna go with the Model X or
Bro,
S?
Nah,
Bro,
man,
Model S.
the Model X,
Model
nah,
S.
nah, not the Model S, bro. The Model 3 is all I need right now, and I'll be fine. Plus,
Going
Bro,
with the
my
more
friend-
affordable option
One of
then?
my friends in Cali, his dad had a white Model S. I think it was gorgeous, and it zoomed.
Really?
It
Oh, yeah.
zoomed, bro. It's like a
Dude.
Batmobile. What the heck?
Yeah, I went and test drove one. Well, I didn't. My dad and I went together and test drove it a couple years ago, the Model S, and we get on the highway, and the guy says to us, he was like, "For it," and I'm sitting in the back seat, and my head just goes like that, like this.
Bro,
is
yes.
insane. I was like,
Because
this is
everybody's like, it's
Really?
an electric. It's not gonna go as fast, bro. That thing gets up, bro.
Oh, yeah.
It gets up for real.
Seriously, oh my gosh.
Yes, bro.
Nah, man, I'm only really in it for like the. Sorry, excuse me. I'm in it because yeah, it's electric, but then also like autopilots. What?
yeah.
The
I've seen
self-driving, bro.
So yeah,
That's
bro,
crazy.
that's crazy.
That
It's
junk's
so
clean.
crazy. You can like
But you gotta be
literally
going fast,
drive-
though. You can't do it like going slow. Like you gotta.
Gotta be
It's
on the
really like
highway.
on the interstate or on
Yeah,
the
gotta be on the
highway.
highway.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to do it on the highway. However, though, they are apparently like doing a new update like later on this year where you can actually just like drive it on main roads and that'll be it. But even so, like on top of that, you can automatically summon your car.
Yeah,
to
bro.
you. So like if you're coming out of like a Best Buy or like okay, maybe a KFC because you know I'm black, so there's that. And like you
Yeah.
like you get a car. You
Bro,
get it-
Publix
you just
fried
like,
chicken
oh,
is
I can't
better,
find my
dog.
car.
Don't even do that,
Bro, we're not gonna have this conversation over
Bro,
Zoom right
hold
now.
up. No,
all right.
no.
All right, wait,
We're
what's the
letting-
best
we're letting the
chicken
host-
sandwich? Who
Popeyes
is the
is the
We're
best
best
letting
chicken
the
sandwich?
host
That's
weigh in
what
on
we need to
this.
know.
Publix or KFC? Come on.
I grew up in Florida my whole life, so I have to go Publix.
Amen. Brandon
That's
lives in
fine.
Florida too. He lives in
I
Fort
live in
Lauderdale.
Florida.
He knows
Yeah,
Publix.
nah.
Riley, what do you
Publix
think?
is fine.
Publix or KFC?
I'm a Popeyes.
You can't say
fan.
Publix against KFC.
Popeyes?
You see, boom. Thank you.
Nah, bro.
Thank you.
Popeyes is
Thank
fire,
you.
but like Publix, bro. Come on, bro.
I like
Publix.
Publix, and I like the chicken tender sub from Publix, but
Bro, that thing is gas.
I
I'm
like
not gonna
Popeyes.
lie, bro.
Honestly,
so
man, like
good.
I do think that like Popeyes is something that you. I think it's Publix. It's something that you like eat when you're like at a pool outing with a bunch of friends and you're just
or on a
like, hey,
boat or something. Mhm.
yes, exactly. It's not like your everyday thing, bro. I can't be sitting down watching anime and like eating some Popeyes like and call it a day. Nah. But no,
Bruh.
Publix and call it a day. Yeah.
So like the best,
Sorry.
I think the best fried chicken depends on like where you are, like location wise, like what you're doing at that point in time. Like, does that change your rankings at all?
Bro, don't come to Kansas and look for good fried chicken. It freaking sucks, bro. Like that was my first I missed the South moment, bro. We moved out here and I'm like, all right. And these people are talking about this place. It's called like Stroud's or something. They're like, bro, it has the best fried chicken. I was like, okay. And I didn't go for like 4 months. And then when I started dating Grace, she's like, we can go if you want. And I was like, everybody just talked about it. Let's give it a shot. Bro, that was like below mid. That was low tier. I was like, bro, these Midwest people do not know how to make fried chicken.
Yeah,
bro.
I'm
Like,
up in
this-
Pennsylvania
God.
for school, and we don't have a KFC like 10 minutes from me. Other than that, no Chick-fil-A, no Popeyes. I'm like,
See,
That's
we at least have a
crazy.
Popeyes. I at
What
least
am
have
I
a
gonna do?
Popeyes. So there's good fried chicken, but like that's a chain. You know what I mean? Like it's not like a normal thing. And
Mhm.
it's so trash. I'm just like, dang, bro. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But they got Raising Cane's, which is so good.
yeah,
It was all right.
heard
It was
that.
pretty cool. When I went up there to visit him, like, and during the wedding, there was Raising Cane's, and then there was like another barbecue place. I can't remember where else we went, but there was another
Casey
barbecue
Joe's.
place.
Yeah, it's a barbecue
Yes,
place.
Casey
You
Joe's.
guys have Zaxby's out
And
there.
Yeah,
it was pretty
Zaxby's
nice.
here.
I worked at Zaxby's.
Yeah, they do.
You work at
Unfortunately.
Zaxby's?
I did.
Oh,
I did back
take it
last
back.
summer. I was a
Bro,
cook at
the
Zaxby's.
Nibbler's meal, that was my go-to.
I was making the chicken tenders. That was my job.
Hey, just tossing those tenders
Yeah.
in the back.
There's no wonder like
I
Friday tastes
would
good.
get a
good.
Nibbler's meal and then I would get ranch instead of Zax sauce on it. Then I would get a side of tongue torch and I would dip my fries in that junk. That's
Mhm.
fire,
Well, their fries are so good at Zaxby's.
bro. Because they actually season them. You know what I'm saying? Like they put a lot of seasoning on it. Versus like, I'll just be
Oh,
honest, bro.
that's-
Sometimes I pull up to Chick-fil-A and I'm like, bro, did they put any salt on this? Like, you know what I'm saying?
There's
Like,
nothing on Chick-fil-A.
bro, they don't put
like
nothing.
fries or sandwiches, nothing. I'm sorry, dude. There's nothing there. Nothing.
But Chick-fil-A is overrated. I'll be honest. I'm gonna say it, bro.
At least it's
Just a little bit.
consistent. You know? You can go
Mhm.
some places, you get good food one time.
I think what's underrated is PDQ. Have you guys ever been to PDQ? I
Yes.
think that's underrated. They're-
Mm.
The PDQ honey butter chicken sandwich is 10 times better than the Chick-fil-A sandwich, and nobody knows about it.
Oh, for real? I never even had that. I just know every time I went to PDQ, I loved this about it, but it was also frustrating because like every time I'd get a meal, it'd be like so hot that you can't eat it for like 5 minutes. But at the same time, I appreciated that the food was always hot and fresh. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a blessing and a curse. But like I just always remember I would be like, can I get a 5-piece tender or whatever? And they'd give me like 7. And I was like, bro, that's a bet. You know what I mean? Like they'd give you extra food. And yeah, they were PDQ was good. But it's not around me now.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite place in Kentucky or Kansas? I'm sorry.
In Kansas. I mean, I like I said, Raising Cane's, but it's not really native to Kansas. It's mostly a Midwest thing, but now it's starting to spread more. But that's like a tender's place. But the place that's here that's locally, Brandon went to with us, but it's called Casey Joe's. It's actually called Joe's Kansas City, but everybody calls it Casey Joe's. It's a barbecue place, so Kansas City is like known for their barbecue, and their fries are so gas, bro. Like they're so good. They season those things like for real, and they're like straight. They're not straight cut. It's like in between straight and restaurant style. I don't know what you call that, but it's like they're good sized fries. But it's like you get a regular size fry or like a family size. I was like, bro, what if I just want like a large, like an in between? Bro, the regular was huge. It's like 3 people's worth of side of fries. And it's just like so good. And I dip those in ranch, but their barbecue is good too. So that's probably like, if I had to pick a spot that's like known for here, I would say that place is good.
Bro, those fries remind me of when you said 3 people's worth. They remind me of Five Guys burgers and
Yep.
fries.
Yeah, you know, they like dump it and then they like put it in the bag.
Yeah,
It's like it's kind of like that. They give you so much. It's like, all right, bet. But
I'll give you that a little bit, honestly. I think honestly, like down here, I'm pretty sure they have it everywhere else. I think it was a new restaurant that came down here, or a new chain of the restaurant that came down here. But they have Culver's now down here, and I'm not gonna lie, like the chicken sandwich, it's still all right. I'm personally there for just like the codfish and stuff like that, and I personally think it's really really dope. But yeah,
Culver's
their fries
is
are pretty
fire.
trash.
Good ice cream.
Yeah.
Their ice cream is so. I
beautiful.
just had their ice cream today. Actually, I ate there today. What am I talking about? But I got their ice cream, and it's just like it's kind of expensive though. Like I got like a regular, it's like $6. I was like, dang, it was good though. But it's like you could get a whole tub of ice cream at the store for that. But nah, it's good though.
All right, Brandon. So while we're kind of on the random subject, I when I was looking at your Instagram profile, I saw your shower rhyme sessions. Are those freestyles or are they scripted a little bit?
No, they're scripted a little bit. So like they're literally just like the shower rhyme sessions are literally just raps that I would like think of while I'm taking a shower, and then like I just put them to like any type of beat, and I kind of just make videos of them. So like it was something that I did during school in order to for one, help with consistency, which by the way has worked out so well for me, hasn't it, Jaylen? So great.
Okay, listen, wait a second. I'm gonna intervene on that. When we're working on that project, that 24-hour challenge for a song, everybody's grinding, working on their verses, and we feel like we're all taking it seriously. And then like Brandon's like working on his art, like for a side, because he had to like finish this guy's project. I think it was like an animation or something, right? He's working on it. Yeah. So we're like, Brandon, like you gotta like, because Brandon, he acknowledges like he's not like a super quick writer necessarily, but like his stuff's good. Like if you listen to it, like he's a good rapper, but like it's not normally a super quick process necessarily. So we're like, bro, we only got 24 hours. Like you kind of gotta like get on this. And he's like, all right, guys, I'll figure it out. And then like we're all like, it's time to do dinner. And he's like, I'm just gonna go take a shower. Bro, I swear this man was in the shower for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
He comes out with his iPad and he's wrote like 4 verses worth, longer than we've ever like all of us wrote for our parts. And he's like, all right, guys. And he goes to rap his part. And I was like, bro, this is insane. So, like, I don't know. When this man gets in the shower, it's just like his creativity hits like a different level for some reason. I don't know what that is, but yeah, continue now. Man. I just had to.
Bro, I'm telling you, man, you get that Dove body soap, bro.
That
like
Dove
that's
for men?
gonna unlock your potential.
That Dove for
dude.
men?
Dove for Dove. Sorry.
What color though? You get the blue one or what do you get?
Nah, man, I get like the Sports Fresh, bro.
The Sports Fresh.
That's Sports Fresh, dude. Yeah, man. Honestly, it's gonna unlock your potential. All right, like no cap. So yeah, what you call it? No, man. But seriously though, like and I was actually even doing his shower rhyme sessions while I was there in Kansas too as well. So like, I guess I was making art for somebody else. I was doing my own shower rhyme sessions. And shout out to our other friend Cole for like shooting that shower rhyme sessions for me. And then even on top of that, making the verse for the project that we would have coming out pretty soon. But like, that was really, really dope. But seriously though, like it is something to help me, like to help train me and push me to be consistently better at creating videos and learning how to mix myself and also how to rap in general. Just thinking of raps quickly, figuring out different flows, like trying to get better and better with every single one. So that's what it really is. And I do think those have improved over time a little bit because I kept on doing those. The only thing that I still do think I need help in and like figuring out, which Jaylen, dude, we got to have like a session one day. I'll pay you $1,000, whichever you want. And I need to figure out how to like mix my own vocals.
You're not going to pay me, Jack. I'm so bad.
I'll just give you art. There you go. So like, yeah, I need to like,
real.
I need to mix my own vocals, and I know that's kind of like pretty trash right now, but yeah, it's training myself with consistency. That's what the shower rhyme sessions are for. And Dove Men.
So we know that Brandon gets his inspiration in the shower, right? But how about some inspiration for you guys, maybe from an artist or somebody that you look up to? So like, for example, you guys, I know you guys are really into God, and you guys are Christians. Maybe there's Christian artists that you guys look up to, or maybe just artists in general that you guys kind of always looked up to your entire career.
So bro, it's so funny. Like, I feel like I'm the weirdest journey to watch of like a creative in terms of like all the music I put out. Like the next song that you guys will hear come out, I don't want to like speak into it a ton, but like the next thing that's gonna come out is like nothing I've ever done, and it's just like I continue to change what I do. But with that being said, my inspirations are all over the place. So first band I ever fell in love with and will always be my favorite, which I know you guys had Charlie on, it's one of his favorites too, but I love Coldplay. Like Coldplay will always probably be my favorite band. I just love their music, and they're my first artist that like I was really inspired by creatively. In terms of rappers, I think the GOAT is Kendrick, and Kendrick Lamar is like, I think he's so creative and good. Kanye is like my favorite in terms of just like hip hop and rap in general. As a producer, dude's built different. His music is crazy. It has layers. He makes music for like 2045. Like, it's crazy. I love his stuff. And then in terms of like Christian like rappers, like I love Andy Mineo. I think his stuff, he's evolved and his music has gotten so much better as it's gone on. I feel like, I mean, he's always been good, but I feel like recently he's been really creative and different and abstract. And I love that. I'm a huge John Bellion guy now. Like at first I wasn't a big fan of his, but I just really I just fell in love with the vision of how he produces and how he writes. But dude's like, all right, he's like a rapper though. Like people don't give him credit for that, but like he's like, bro, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm pretty sure his next album is gonna be like all rap. But if it is, he's probably gonna like stamp himself as like, I don't know, bro, probably top 10. Like, I'll just be honest. Like, I think he's legit, bro. Like, he's a good rapper. I'm not saying top 10 all time, but I'm saying like in the current game, like he's legit. But I like John Bellion. But that's probably where I'd start. Of just, I like Kendrick, Coldplay, Kanye, and Andy Mineo and John Bellion. Those guys are definitely big influences for me. And I mean, when they put out music, like I'm just on it. Like I love their stuff. So that's where I'd start.
Kendrick never puts out music, bro. It's been
Bro,
forever.
I know, but like, okay, but here's the thing though. Here's the thing, like the last album he put out was what, 4 years ago, 3 years
Yeah.
ago, and we're still playing
3
that
years ago.
junk. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like DNA
Facts.
comes on and it's still like bet, or Element comes on, you're like, this is still fire. Triple X, like all that stuff, it's still good. But that's like why he's so great, is because unlike those other rappers we talked about earlier, because that could be its own rant we can talk about for an hour and a half. But like the modern rap formula is like, let me put out 3 albums in a year and they're all like 20 tracks each, and it's quantity over quality.
Yep.
But then you got guys like
Absolutely.
Kendrick where it's like, here's 14 tracks and it'll be like some of the best 14 tracks you've ever heard, and the whole album, it fits together and it's like, it's classics. You know what I mean? Like you can play that
Exactly.
stuff forever.
Instantly.
When he drops this next album, bro, like you know it's just gonna destroy the charts again. Because like when his last album came out, bro was constantly on the radio, but also beyond that, like it was just top of the charts like over and over. And that'll be Kendrick again. But I'm also, like I said, I'm a Kendrick fan, so I'll definitely I have his back. I'm a little biased.
I'm telling you, dog. Yeah, bro. Like if you honestly, I just
Kenny.
you. What happens on Earth stays on Earth.
Exactly, bro.
Facts, bro. But yeah, like honestly, like he takes the artists who take time to make their art, creates art that is timeless, and like it
Yes.
legitimately goes on forever. Like to this
Yes.
day, I will still listen to the song "All Right," like from Kendrick Lamar's "To Pimp a Butterfly" album and stuff like that.
Yes. Good
Because
Kid,
like
Mad
when you
City,
really,
all that stuff.
yes, that's what I'm saying. Yo, I was really thinking about it the other day, and I'm just like, okay, One Dance by Drake is like, well, okay, One Dance is still a really, really good song, but like One Dance by Drake is, it has over like 1 billion streams on Spotify right now, right? And Kendrick Lamar's All Right has like what, over 500 million or something like that. I'm like, okay, so he has less streams than Drake does on this one song, but for some reason people still will remember All Right from Kendrick Lamar more than One Dance by Drake. And it kind of just kind of like shows like which one is timeless, which one is kind of like more for the moment. But that's aside. I get, so I should like start talking about, are you done, Jaylen, by the way? Are you done?
Oh yeah, you keep
I was
going.
speaking about your inspirations. Okay. Like your inspirations. Okay. But going forward into like my inspirations though, in middle school, throughout middle school, I listened to Eminem because he was great. Eminem's awesome.
Legend.
And then he's a legend. And then through high school, I listened more over to Lecrae, and Eminem. And then some other inspirations came along with Chance the Rapper.
The Raptor?
Really, really. Yeah, bro. Chance, acid rapper.
Bro,
stalker,
but his The Big Day album
Velociraptor.
was garbage though.
It was garbage. Like I was gonna say this. Chance the Rapper before the Big Day. Like
Yeah.
it
After
was
The
pretty
Big
bad.
Day,
I'm not gonna lie.
he became Chance the Raptor, but before that, he was
Yeah, dude. It was that was something else. But yeah. After that, it's the big three: Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, and Drake. I think of all three. Like, I'm guessing I'm saying this right now because J. Cole literally just released, but J. Cole would be the top 3 out of those 3. Other than that, though, Andy Mineo, John Bellion, One Republic, actually.
Bro,
Sorry
their
about
stuff's good. Their stuff's good.
One Republic is pretty fire. I do like
But see,
One Republic.
that's even its own, like Ryan Tedder, the lead singer and songwriter for One Republic. He writes so much of radio's top songs, but it's just not under
Facts.
One Republic's name, and he doesn't get like the credit for it, but he gets the actual credit for it. Like if you look up the songwriters, Ryan Tedder is on so many songs. It's crazy.
Facts.
So is John
Absolute
Bellion. John
facts.
Bellion.
John
Holy
Bellion wrote like
Holy
a
by
bunch
Justin
of different
Bieber and
songs.
Chance the Rapper. John Bellion produced that. Trumpets by Jason
John-
Derulo.
yeah.
John Bellion produced that. Like he's
Monster
produced so
by
many-
Eminem
Monster,
and Rihanna. Like
Eminem
John
and Rihanna.
Bellion. Yeah.
Yes, but people don't talk about that. But it's like, bro, like there's a lot of guys that are, but those are 2 people that we named though. One Republic and then John Bellion. Like they're so inspiring, but they also like they're low key inspiring the top artists too. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like they're literally writing their music.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
And then finishing the last couple of like inspirations, there is NF. Like NF is a pretty fire artist. for me. I'll admit he's pretty cool. And then there is, lastly, who did I say? I said John Bellion already as a Chance rapper. I will say Logic. Logic is like, he's an artist that
Steven made a face. Steven, why'd you make a face? Why'd you make a face?
Well, going back, you guys said you do this forever, and I think didn't Logic just retire? You know.
He did, bro.
Logic's
he's not a real artist.
Man, nah, bro. He's gonna come back. I really do think so. When you really think about it, like,
he's gonna Conor McGregor it.
Huh? Yeah, or Mike Tyson it. Either one. Because like I heard Mike. Oh, no, not Mike Tyson. Floyd Mayweather. He's gonna come back to fight Logan Paul or John
Logan Paul, bro. June 6th.
Dude, oh my gosh.
Tyson came back too though, because what was it? A couple months ago he fought against I don't even remember the guy's name that he fought against, but it was
it was a draw though. It was
yeah.
But I'm pretty sure Conor McGregor's retired like 4 times. Like he's always like, I'm retiring from fighting. I'm done. It's not my identity. And then he's like, you know, bro, he's just chasing the bag. Like, you know what I mean? Because then somebody would be like, I'll fight you. And they're like, for the record-setting deal it's like, bro, he's just chasing the money, honestly. But
you know what's, this is an interesting topic we can bring up too. This kind of goes along with Eminem as well, because he hasn't released any music for a while now. People talk about maybe the reasoning behind why Eminem's first songs were just so good, and this kind of goes along with Conor McGregor, was that when they were younger and they went through all of that struggle, they just had it within them to produce music about their struggle. It's the same way with Conor McGregor. He wanted to fight because he was, so angry about his past. And now it's like they've made it. They're multimillionaires. They have all this money, living lavish. And it's like, maybe nowadays they don't have to do it anymore.
Bro, I'll just be honest. So like, if I had to give you like my top 5 in terms of skill rappers ever, like Eminem's probably number 1. If not, he's 100% top 3. Okay, but I just said probably just for the sake of right now. However, I've never been a fan. Like, but I respect his greatness. But the reason I'm not a fan is because of kind of what you're talking about. Like this dude, literally 8 Mile, coming from Detroit, all his stuff. His first stuff made sense. But when he's like posted up in a mansion with like hundreds of million in net worth and he's still rapping about the same stuff, I'm like, bro, you are in a whole different class of life now. Like, I get it. I get that whole thing, but other rappers adapted. You know what I mean? Like, but then on top of it, like, he didn't rap about it in like a past context. Most of his raps came from a present context versus like when Kendrick raps about his past, he's rapping about his past. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's a little different. But also, like, Kendrick raps about a lot of current stuff. Like, he talks about social issues and that kind of thing. But Eminem, you're right. Like, it's this still, like, I'm trying to prove I'm the best. I'm trying to show where I came from. And I'm trying to, like, and that kind of, like, always has irked me a little bit, I can
understand that. I can understand that.
I think it was MGK
go ahead.
Whenever they had that beef and MGK dropped that diss track. He's like, bro, you're not in the hood anymore. You're not. I'm pretty sure he called him out. And I was like, at least somebody said something.
That's fairly true for sure. And I do think like it is. That's why like I do think it's a creative's job to stay inspired, but like not always continuously hold on to thing that brought you up in the first place. Like Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, you were totally right. He's rapping about his past, but then like in the present time, he's finding creative ways to speak about like some of the downfalls of being like a musician, of being a famous artist and stuff like that. Because like you were saying earlier, like you were saying Robin Thicke or something like that, a bunch of these different artists who finally made it are making billions of dollars, or like having depressing thoughts, or maybe even like being suicidal and stuff like that. And talking about like a lot of the issues, the mental issues that come with being a celebrity and stuff like that. And Kendrick Lamar, he has done that. He has spoken about that, and he has creatively found outlets to talk about those things, or moreover to say that he's found a creative way to speak about those things. And because of his creativity, that's definitely what keeps him relevant. So I definitely agree with you. But even Logic himself, like he in his last album that he retired with, like he literally created a song called Dad Bod or something like that. And he was spitting a whole entire verse, like talking about like, hey, I go to the store and I get some baby diapers. There's a girl with a really, really round shape. But I'm honestly just thinking about like whether or not Hefty holds the most trash and stuff. It's like, is this what you guys want?
Bro, but Logic,
like, I'm a dad now.
Logic low-key does the same thing as Eminem in a different way though. Like Logic is always talking about how he's biracial, bro. Like every song, like he's like, by the way, I'm mixed. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just like, bro, like what?
Bro,
like, what
yes,
are you doing?
but like it's memeified. You know, it's like comical by this point if you think about it.
But that's the thing.
Like,
At
being
first
an
it
irking
wasn't
issue.
though. Like he had like 3 albums out.
Yeah.
Where it's just like every other song is about being, oh, I'm not accepted by black people, but I'm also not accepted by white people. But like I fit in this. I'm like, bro, this is like every song, bro. I swear. Like, you know, it's like that Taylor Swift. Like every song's about a breakup. It's like, dang. Like,
I know.
Like, are you good? But I agree with you in terms of like Logic's skill is obviously like he's up there. But that's why I said like Eminem, if you don't put him in top 5 in terms of like his ability to write, it's like, all right, you're kind of like hating, you know what I mean? But like, but it's still, he's never been one of my favorites. But I like Logic more than Eminem though. I'm not gonna lie.
Did you know that I'm mixed like Obama?
Exactly.
That was his line in that one song. I was like,
and then he's like talking about how it's not a Logic project if he's not talking about being biracial.
Not talking about being biracial. Yeah. Oh man.
That's right. I didn't even know he was mixed. Like the first time I heard him, he was like dropping the N-word. I was like, hold up. And then I was like, oh no, he's mixed. I was so shook at first. I was like, how is this dude like successful? Like, I don't know. But anyways, that's its own topic. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think now's a good time to kind of wrap it up. I mean, there's so much to talk about. I'd love to do a podcast with you guys again. But it's been great. We've talked about a lot. It was really cool to see you guys, how you guys got into what you're doing and your passion for it, and it was really enjoyable. Thank you for your time. Brian, I really appreciate you guys coming on.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys
Absolutely.
coming on. You know, we had a great conversation today. You know, it was just kind of like we were sitting at the lunch table back in high school. You know, one of those types
For
of
sure.
days. But yeah, it was a fun one. Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, Jaylen, you should totally drop your plug, bro. Like, drop that IG.
Yeah,
let them know.
Oh, bro, yes. Follow me on Instagram at I am Jay Halstead, and follow at Barsnetti on the gram too.
Absolutely.
The boy.
Thank you guys so much for having us. Honestly, It was a blessing.
Yeah, you guys are super talented. Just keep up the hard work, and we look forward.
Thank you.
Listening to your music, looking at your artwork, and being there for you guys, supportive backs for you. So good luck with everything.
Thank you guys.
Congrats.
Thank you. Golden State all day, baby.
Get out of here, bro.
Let's get another ring.
They're not even in the playoffs. What?